Hi guys, my name is Brandon,
My name is Mary.
and today we're going to be talking about Easy English. This book. It's Basic Grammar and Usage by Diana Bonnet. The book is targeted at older ESL learners, namely those who are seeking to enter the workforce, or those who are beginner to intermediate level who just want to consolidate their skills by reviewing previously learned grammar and covering newer concepts with a drive for accuracy. And it is also for native speakers who just want to improve their grammar knowledge in general. It seems this book is more meant for one-on-one learning more than a classroom setting, but it could be used for classrooms of 15 or less. So let's take a look at the table of contents.
Okay, so a look at the table of contents. The textbook is extremely succinct. It's consisting of 5 chapters. The first 2 chapters, which contain the majority of the grammar review, and the 2 following chapters focus on, spelling, punctuation, as well as proper word use. And the final chapter focuses on communicating with confidence. So it gives tips on how to use the language that they've reviewed. In response to Thornberry's E factor, the book is economical, if not overly so, as it pays short attention to each segment and clusters them together under one general chapter as seen here. For the second E, ease, segments within chapters are concise, with practice exercises given immediately after explanation of the rule. Instructors or even the students themselves are able to grade the control practice given, as answer keys are supplied at the immediate end of the chapter. While this may make grading easier for the instructor, it is also just as easy for students to access and become more tempted to rely on than if it were placed at the end of the book, as most in-book answer keys are. For the A factor, appropriacy, seeing as this book is geared towards a smaller demographic of older, more independent learners, it seems that it is indeed appropriate enough with its repetitive practice. One of the stated goals of this book is to make learning grammar less intimidating for learners. That said, aside from grammar rules and their explanations, which we will discuss shortly, the tone of the book is light and strives to be humorous in an attempt to relieve learners from the stress of facing new or possibly daunting terminology and ideas. Throughout the book, there are very little diagrams or pictures, save for the occasional witty quotes or comics showcasing language relating to some aspects of use or form.
Okay, here we have the first chapter of the textbook. The first chapter is a review of the basic English parts of speech. It immediately got our attention because it's the longest chapter in the textbook and covers a wide range of essential information. It begins by taking a pedagogical approach to teaching nouns, pronouns, adjectives, past tense, etc., etc. It teaches all of them in a logical order that seems to follow the SLA sequence of acquisition theory fairly accurately. It follows the PPP formula, which is presentation, practice, and production. However, the book does not apply the production aspect as there is no pair work. Because of the lack of pair work, we feel that the meaningful output opportunities are at a minimum. So the book might be more geared towards one-on-one learning, or like we said earlier, a smaller classroom setting. So after the long review of parts of speech in Chapter 1, Chapter 2 focuses on the syntactical structure of English. The grammar points are stated deductively and use both rules of form and rules of use. They include phrases, clauses, fragments, and etc. Unfortunately, when giving examples of these grammar points, the book offers few contrasts of improper use. This may lead learners to make mistakes that could be otherwise avoided. We also found that the textbook only followed 2 out of 6 of the rules for Thornberry's criteria for an effective grammar rule. For example, on page 83, they're teaching 4 kinds of sentences: declarative, interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory. The book gives simple definitions for all the types, then provides one example and immediately gives you an exercise to practice. While this does cover truth and simplicity from Thornberry, it lacks clarity, limitation, familiarity, and relevance. The E factors, economy, efficiency, and ease, seem to be applied to the textbook due to a simplicity of the grammar explanations.
The majority, if not all, of the exercises in this textbook are aimed at accuracy. As was stated before, there are no opportunities for students to practice producing their own creative language, therefore supporting our claim that this book is based on a PPP format while missing the final P component, production. Another point to mention is that this book is clearly geared towards written skills. There are no exercises encouraging spoken practice, and the given dialogues are non-authentic in nature. However, in an unusual shift in focus from the rest of the textbook, Chapter 5 focuses on communicating with confidence, giving tips on how to use language, both written and spoken, as reviewed through the book. While we see this chapter as beneficial, we feel that if solely reliant on what is discussed in the previous chapters of the text, Chapter 5 would be ultimately considered of little to no use for learners in terms of spoken language practice. However, it seems this chapter could stand well alone as a reminder and motivational guide or questionnaire to be given at the very beginning or end of a class, where both written and spoken practice are being taken into consideration. We have concluded that Easy English, Basic Grammar and Usage is not appropriate to stand alone as the main text of the course. In response to Thornberry's final E, Efficacy, we see that as an older text, there is still much that it lacks in aiding students who seek to become fluent in the English language. Perhaps a few exercises may be used for review of very basic forms, and Chapter 5 may be of some help in encouraging students and giving them points to consider with their language use. But aside from this, we would suggest not using this book as a course staple, but more as a self-study or review guide.
Thank you for watching our video. I hope you guys learned a lot, and I'll see you in class.